everywhere, soaked
on the laptop.
on the laptop. It's been a good one. Alrighty.
We're back at it.
We're back at it. Hopefully this setup will be a little bit more entertaining for y'all, but
It's something like that.
we're going to try it out. But today's topic, we got to talk about the Arthur M. Anderson.
Absolutely. First, I'm Colin Agnes. It's Jagger Brown over there.
Yep. It's been some time since we did this, but this guy has been on the clock at work getting paid to research this, so he knows. I know a little bit about the boat. He just looked it up a lot more. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So the Arthur M. Anderson, probably the second most famous lake freighter ever.
Absolutely. Just because of its story, its history, how old it is.
Its association with it is a cab over. Its association with the most famous boat, which is of course the Fitzgerald.
Everybody's heard of that one.
Yeah, but before we get to its association with the Fitzgerald, let's step back to the beginning for this boat.
Yeah.
So back in 1952, I got some notes here.
He does got some notes. So, that's why he's got it. He's got this. I'm just here to drink and listen and try and pitch in and probably say something wrong. But
so we got to start in Lorain, Ohio. Well, really, we got to start with the Pittsburgh Steamship Company. They and a couple other companies commissioned the American Shipbuilding in Lorain to build a total of 8 boats. Again, this is not just a Pittsburgh Steel, but there's 8 boats in this class. It's probably the most famous class of lake freighter.
That's the AAA class.
Yep.
Okay, I did.
AAA.
I knew something.
Yeah. So the Anderson is the second ship of the AAA class, and she's one of 3 that's owned by the same company, the Pittsburgh Steamship Company. But she was known as Hull 868 and launched on February 16th of 1952. So early in the year, she was launched, and then, like I said, three boats. You got the Case and J. Callaway, the Anderson, and for the life of me, I can't think of what the other one was called.
Philip Clark.
Philip R. Clark. So you have those 3 boats. They all, I believe, were built and released that year. The Pittsburgh Steamship Company was actually owned by U.S. Steel. Now, Pittsburgh Steamship Company came into existence in 1899.
Whoa.
And then 3 years later, they were bought by U.S. Steel and operated by U.S. Steel for a very long period of time, actually over 100 years they were owned by U.S. Steel. And we'll get into that later.
Wow.
But at its height, the Pittsburgh Steamship Company, under ownership of U.S. Steel, had over 100 boats sailing under their flag. And I believe that's not just lake freighters. I think that's support craft, too.
I was going to say, if that's 100 lake freighters.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So even 100 lake freighters sailing today?
No.
There ain't no way.
No.
There might be 60, 70?
Maybe
that, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and they were, this is all from the National Museum of the Great Lakes, which we're going to be by here next month.
We're next month.
Away.
We're gonna try and go take a trip up there.
I don't know if we're gonna get to go to the museum this trip, but we're going to see the Anderson and the Philip Clark. But so another tidbit from that museum, from their website, is that the Pittsburgh Steamship Company was known for these huge flags that they would have on their boats.
That's awesome.
They were primarily 10 feet, but there was a couple 15-foot ones too.
It's awesome. It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge.
I'd fly it. Dude, screw it. You're awesome. You're awesome. But the 3 out of the 8 AAA class boats, I'm sorry, I don't mean to completely
go ahead.
switch up. 3 of them, well,
3 of them owned by...
Case and J. Callaway has been in layup since 22, I think, or 21.
Something like that,
like that, which... Case and J. Callaway, Philip Clark, Anderson they all look like, they literally look exactly the same.
I believe there's 7 out of the 8 that are still sailing. One of them has been converted to a barge.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Because I thought that I knew there was for sure not big 3, but the 3.
Yeah, right.
And I remember you talking about
the K. Barker. She's a AAA class, I believe. That was Cliff's boat. built for the Cliffs. That was their flagship.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful boat.
It is.
That's such a beautiful boat.
I want to say another one of the Interlake boats is one of those. So that would be, 5? The Pathfinder barge. Pathfinder Dorothy Ann. That's an Interlake tug and barge combo. Pathfinder was a AAA class. And the Armco, or American Valor.
Yeah, I was going to say Armco's still there.
Yeah, that's in long-term layup in Toledo.
In layup because it also looks identical to
that's the same
to those ships. But yeah, that one.
And then
one's still there.
I think that's 6. So yeah, whichever one of the Interlake boats that I'm not thinking of right at this moment, it's either the Oberstar or the Herbert Jackson. One of those two or another one. And then there was one that was scrapped. I think it was another Ford boat.
Probably.
And,
I know this one. It was scrapped. It was a while ago, though. I think it was scrapped a while ago. It was crap. Nope. I'm not. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But obviously these are some of the most famous vessels on the lakes.
Longest lasting too.
And the longest lasting. Like, do you really think that they actually thought? What'd you say? The Anderson was launched in '52.
Yeah.
As well as the other ones. There's no way they thought they were going to make it this long.
Mm-mm.
There's no way.
70 years.
It's been 70 years, and I think like an average boat's lifespan. I know, like in saltwater,
it was supposed
it's completely different. But
yeah, I think they were planning on like 25 years.
Yeah, like 20. I
read that somewhere
between 30 and 40.
Okay,
which, even then, that's a long
still,
time, but not almost double that.
Right.
Which is double that.
It's double.
It's crazy.
A little over if you're talking 30
and
years.
They're still workhorses every season. They come in, except for the Anderson was in layup for a couple of years. You said
a couple of years, yeah. Like, but I mean, the Armco's been in layup for.
Right. The Armco's
honestly, it's been layup really for the last 20 years.
Right. Technically, yeah. It came in for like, I think it was like 1 or 2 seasons under the Armco name in 2006 or like 2007 because it was in layup before that.
Yeah.
Then they came in. It's been layup ever since after that, but. They did not expect these boats to last this long, which is just in my lifetime. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm in my 20s. I haven't been paying attention as much, but just in my lifespan, I think it's probably at least over 10 to 15 cabovers have been scrapped or
in the last
put
10
in
years.
layup or
like
good
years,
names,
sure.
like awesome boats.
Yeah,
and it's sad because when I was little, we used to. There's a it's the Marblehead Quarry. I think it's Lafarge Quarry is the name of it.
Yep.
We used to go to, it's East Harbor State Park. And they have an awesome beach there, and we used to go, and they have like the little like spectacles where you can put like a quarter in. And when I was little, I used to look at it because it's such a different boat, the cab over.
Oh yeah,
and you can see it coming, like you can see it move in and out, whatever it needs to be. And I'd be like, that is nuts. And then I'd walk away. I was like, all right, that was cool. But the site's getting so rare now, and it sucks because the Anderson is potentially going to be put to, I guess, permanent rest.
We'll get to that in
I'm
a little
sorry,
bit.
I'm shaking because, please.
Yeah, so I was going to add on to that. This was really common for steel companies to own their own fleets. That's what they did back then. I mean, it makes the most financial sense.
Absolutely.
You're not paying.
Right, it's your own.
Yeah.
You're going to pay somebody else to do it. You just do it.
Yeah, I mean, Inland Steel did it. Cleveland Cliffs.
Ford did it.
Ford did it. Yep, I have that on here. But yeah, so the Anderson was named after Arthur Marvin Anderson. He was the director and director of U.S. Steel and the vice chairman of J.P. Morgan and Co. That was at the time that the Anderson was built. So that's his namesake. Some standard configuration, as-built configuration. 647 feet, 70-foot beam, 36-foot depth. So pretty big boat for back then. By today's standards, not very big. But back then, that was huge. I don't think any of them ever held the title of Queen of the Lakes.
Was the Anderson ever lengthened or no? Or has it been the same?
Yeah,
okay,
I'll get into that. They're all actually lengthened. Okay. All the ones that are still left, at least.
Okay.
It was oil-fired boilers from the start, so no coal. And 7,000 shaft horsepower with the steam turbine that she had. The gross tonnage that she could carry was 20,000, so about close to Cole's Ideal Woman.
Yeah, it's cutting it close. But
yeah. It's getting up. It's close. It's close.
We'll call it good there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call her.
And then, like we already mentioned, her two fleet mates, the Philip R. Clark and the Case and J. Calloway, identical.
Yeah, they are.
And all built in Lorain, Ohio, real close to here.
Awesome.
It's so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of old cab overs that have been built in Lorain.
A lot of ships in general, even like the 1,000-footers. I mean, a bunch of them.
I forgot 1,000-footers were built there. But they built them in sections, didn't they?
So, yeah, Anderson, I said she was launched on February 16th, I believe. August 7th is when she started her sea trials. And then 5 days later, she headed off from Lorain for her first load of cargo out of 2 harbors. So, yeah, after that,
it's just been a workhorse.
Yeah.
It's been a workhorse ever since she was launched, and minus the few years that she was in layup, but all the way from then up to today.
Yeah.
Up to, because obviously right now is winter layup, 2020.
We got to see her hauling tack.
We did,
too.
Yeah, we got to see her
up in Cleveland.
That was amazing. That was
awesome.
That was a quick little, hey, after work,
yeah.
It's there. We should go try and catch it. We did. We even took our buddy Cole with us. It was a great time.
He had no idea what was going on, but he was happy
to be there. Guh.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. I really hope. I can't wait to go see it. I've been so excited because we planned this probably about a half a month, 2-3 weeks ago. March 1st.
Once we found out, pretty much.
Yeah, once we found out, we just kind of heard rumors just from people. We're on Facebook groups like, because you said to me earlier that in 2019 was the last annual inspection. It was already kind of like iffy.
Yeah,
supposedly.
That's what people say.
That's what people were saying. Now, I don't know. You just told me, actually, of something about how in the 80s during an inspection, the midship part was softer. The steel was softer than the stern and so they carry how much less?
1,500 tons less than her sister ships. The midsection was... midsection on the Anderson supposedly was softer than the midsections put in the other boats.
Yeah, this was in the 80s. Which technically in the 80s...
It was a NOAA report, such Coast Guard report.
Yeah. So technically in the 80s, that would have been like probably when they thought maybe she's up ready to, like, that's it. She already lived her life.
Yeah.
But they're like, nah, let's do it. I mean, Jesus,
keep her going for another 40 years.
Alpina in the Lee Tregurtha. Those are over 80 years old, those boats. The Tregurtha's actually even older than the Alpina. Not as a lake freighter, but as a...
Actually, they count her actual, as an oiler life into that age because she wasn't converted into a lake freighter until 1960.
Okay.
So, her actual age, her...
sailing age?
Sailing age is correct to what people say.
Okay.
But, so she's second oldest boat. Hopefully doesn't go away anytime soon.
Hopefully not. This basically, because obviously I don't know how many boats are actually in layup right now in Toledo, like 10.
There's a lot.
Something crazy like that.
I think the last the layup podcast, I said how many it was, and I don't remember at the moment.
Yeah, we can't remember.
But there's a bunch. I mean, all the Great Lakes boats, the Great Lakes water cab overs, or front pilot house boats for those that don't understand. That's just an inside joke between us.
It's cab over.
But all of their front pilot house water cab overs that sailed last season are in Toledo.
Yeah.
So the only ones that aren't are the Callaway and the Roger Blau. But the Roger Blau is on the other side of the state. So
yeah, and we got to go see them. We're gonna take our equipment, go take our drones up. We're gonna make a pretty nice day out of it.
It's gonna be awesome.
Especially just because I'm not sure exactly how that works regarding the 5-year inspection. If they gotta sail it up to the dry dock, I'm assuming because I know they dry dock them. Just to check everything, but I don't know if that
one of the
February
Fincanetti or the Fraser shipyards, one of those, I would think they would sail it up there. I think the last one was done in Fraser.
Yeah.
So that's probably where they would do it there again.
Yeah.
And it's technically 6 years. It's been 6 years since the last inspection. So I don't know really how that works. This is just, again, more so like rumors that we've heard online.
Yeah.
But, so the Anderson, not really like specific to her information, but in the 60s, I think it's 65 or 67, but it was 67. They renamed, like, instead of the Pittsburgh Steamship Company, they changed the name to the U.S. Steel Great Lakes Fleet. So we're getting to the point where we're starting to see kind of the modern name slip in, and it more or less holds the same name to today. They are the Great Lakes Fleet. I would say the biggest thing that happened to her, the pre-Fitzgerald era, would be the same year that incident happened. She got lengthened.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they cut her in half, which obviously they inserted a 120-foot midsection. So this was done in Wisconsin, Superior, Wisconsin, Fraser Shipyards. Changed her overall length by 120 feet, obviously. So she's around 600 or 750 feet, maybe a little bit longer, 760. It increased her tonnage by 6,000 tons.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So the same thing was done with all of the fleet mates.
The other ones, did they do it pretty much the same, like 120?
I'm pretty sure across the entire board with all of them, even the ones owned by the different companies, they all got 120-foot midsections, increased their length by the same.
Right on. And then do you know when, because obviously they were all built without self-unloaders. You know when the self-unloader was put on?
I do. Yeah, so that was 82.
Okay.
Also done in Fraser Shipyards. And that was that was when they kind of, at least in my notes, they found out about the softer midsection with the steel, I'm sure, something like that. But a year before that happened, another name change and a port change. So previously, and I don't have this in my notes, it was actually the ports were in the home port was like Maryland, which I've actually seen that with a couple other boats doing some research. None of them, they weren't in the Great Lakes, but with this last name change, they kind of shortened the U.S. Steel part, so it was just USS Great Lakes Fleet, which it stood for U.S. Steel.
Yeah,
but,
United States Steel, Great Lakes Fleet.
Yeah, so they finally changed it to Duluth, Minnesota, which is the same home port that they all hold to today. Mm-hmm. You can see it on the back of the boat. It says it on there, but that's kind of jumping ahead of probably the most important thing that she's ever seen, which is
the most important thing. This is just
probably the most important thing that's happened to Great Lakes shipping in the last 80 years.
Really recorded history, because obviously there have
50
been,
years actually.
There have been dozens and literally hundreds of shipwrecks in the Great Lakes, obviously from big to small, but this one's just obviously one of the most
This was the last. This was the biggest.
It was the last sinking, the last actual sinking of a Great Lakes freighter.
Yeah.
It was wasn't recorded or anything at that time, but except for the communication, the audio calls between the Arthur Anderson and the Fitzgerald. And do you remember when the Fitzgerald was launched?
59 or 58.
I was going to say,
I can't remember. It was late 50s. We'll just safely say that.
Okay, we'll just say late 50s. Obviously, it was bigger than the Anderson.
Yep.
It was bigger, wider. It was just all around a bigger ship.
She was the Queen of the Lakes.
It was the Queen of the Lakes, and it was. They even had the nickname. I think it was Fast Eddie. It was a fast boat.
Well, that was the Ryerson.
My bad. That was the Ryerson. I'm getting them all screwed up. But this is 1975, November 10th, 1975. It was when the Fitzgerald went down on Lake Superior. And
November 10th.
And it was when basically the Anderson and the Fitzgerald were both out together. Mm-hmm. Fitzgerald was behind it. Fitzgerald actually passed the Anderson, and they were in communication the whole time, talking to each other back. It was a bad storm. There were lake freighters all over.
Yeah,
the Blau was out. I'm pretty sure
the Blau was. It was not super close.
It wasn't close, but it was out.
It did aid in searching for survivors after the fact. Yeah, the next day. But the Wilfred Sykes, which is still sailing to this day, she was probably the other closest boat.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of perspective from the captain of the Sykes and the captain of the Anderson, obviously. But so those two really hung together for the entire journey until the Fitz sank.
Until the last moments. And it was more so like when that time was, it was more they all had radar. Like the Anderson, the Fitzgerald had radar, but it was really in its infancy stages, which obviously radar is radar. You can see where they're at. And I think one of the most horrifying things to me that the captain of the Anderson recalls is just dead.
Just gone off the map.
Off the map.
Or not seeing the lights anymore.
Or not seeing the lights, because they could. I don't remember exactly how far away they were.
It was something like 12. It was
like 12 miles.
It was between 12 and 16 miles.
But he could see the lights. They remember when the Fitzgerald went past. Obviously, they talked. The last call from the Fitz was, we are holding our own. But the whole time, he's talking about we have a railing down, hatches taking on water. Basically he was relaying. But like, if you go on and listen to the actual audio calls, it's borderline. Like, it'll give you chills.
It does.
But the captain, he's just like, well, it's whatever. We got a railing down, which in Great Lake and straight deck freighter terms, that's bad. Your hull's twisting.
Very bad.
If your railing's down.
I watched there's a very good documentary out there. I believe it's on YouTube, and it just kind of explained the significance of a railing falling down, because it's like having, think of like a clothesline, but it's in between two basically immovable objects. And it's always under tension too. I mean, it's like a steel cable, but it's taut. And if it breaks, there's something significantly wrong.
Right.
Think about it. I mean, a steel cable breaking, that's not an easy
something
thing to do.
Is bad.
Yeah.
And you're right. The Anderson's seen the lights, has just seen the ship disappear.
Yeah.
Didn't hear from the Fitzgerald after a little while, and then it was immediately like, they're gone.
It's gone.
We got to send out a search party, and there was basically all hands. It was turned into borderline mass chaos because they just lost a freighter, but the storm was still going on. It was terrible.
Horrible. It was horrible.
And the Anderson, I don't know if the Anderson, I don't think it was Anderson, but there was a boat that actually went out into the storm. It might have even been the Anderson. I think the Anderson turned right around, or didn't turn around, but went to its last known latitude, longitude coordinates.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of hinted on the radar a little bit. Didn't mention that the Fitzgerald's radar was not
That's
working.
Right. It was not
working. Their backup, which it relies on a station on land to relay position. So that was working on the Fitzgerald, but the closest station on Whitefish Point was not working.
Oh, okay.
So the Fitzgerald was pretty much entirely relying on positioning with the Anderson. So that was one big part of their communication back and forth, was relaying positions and the Anderson kind of helping them navigate. And then, of course, they just disappeared. No more communications. Another big part with trying to rescue was it was a horrible storm. The Coast Guard also had nothing nearby. Yeah. And it was too bad to really release a helicopter. If they had one available, it was close by.
Yeah, it was a bad night.
It was horrible. So the Anderson was the only boat around to really look immediately.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as the days passed, or a day passed, and the weather got better, we had the William Clay Ford. And actually, I think it was out around the nearby, relatively after.
Yeah, it was pretty much all hands on deck. The William Clay Ford went. The Edmund Fitzgerald sister ship also came. And basically, they found some wreckage. They found, I don't know if it was one or two lifeboats.
Two lifeboats, but one was halfway gone. They found a life preserver. Mm-hmm. They didn't find a single body.
Yep.
I think maybe some other debris, but the Roger Blau was also nearby.
Yep.
She actually picked up one of the lifeboats. Okay. The Blau did. But, the famous last words from the Fitzgerald is, "We're holding our own." That was sent to the Anderson.
Yep.
If the Anderson wasn't there, I mean, we wouldn't know any of this. We would
not know any of this. It would just be a lake freighter that never made it to its destination into port.
I would personally think that they would have eventually found it, but it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
But one thing I also kind of think about with that is so the captain of the Fitzgerald and the captain of the Anderson were both known as heavy weather captains, which meant that they did not park their freighters during a storm. They're going to
power through it.
I mean, they got more money if they did that. That was a real motivation. And them being such large boats, they weren't really worried about it. But there was Captain Bernie Cooper on the Anderson and Captain McSorley on the Fitz.
Yep.
Both heavy weather. But part of me wonders if one of them decided, well, if I would say the Anderson decided to wait it out, if the Fitz would have kept on going.
That's a good, yeah.
Maybe, and this is I'm not putting any blame on the Anderson and on her captain.
No.
It's just a thought,
Yeah, it's just a thought. There's so many things that could have happened. Maybe the Anderson would have been like, "Hey, this is really bad. We're gonna go here." Maybe the Fitzgerald would have followed.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows? But regardless, at least we know, because I think they found the Fitz like a year later.
They did.
On the bed floor, split in half.
They used like some sort of magnetic reading to figure out where it was. But yeah, it was crazy.
It was a crazy. Obviously, it was one of the biggest tragedies, and that's basically when the Arthur M. Anderson's name really came to be one of the. It was tied to it forever, even to today. Like anybody who even has a slight interest in lake freighters, they're gonna know that name. That's like that was really
those two boats.
The Fitzgerald was my first one.
Of course,
that was obviously the first
everybody's
lake freighter, and that's when I was like, holy
phenomenal song to go with the boat.
Absolutely beautiful song. Couple things here and there that aren't true, but it's just to keep the song. How musicians are. It's a great song. But obviously, Edmund Fitzgerald, definitely as a kid, my first one, and then that's when I was like, holy shit, we got like 800-foot boats that are just splitting up, breaking in half. Like here, like lakes tied to my state.
Yeah.
Like what? Stuff like I know it's Lake Superior, but I'm just saying, Great Lakes.
Right.
It's nuts, and the fact that a lot of these boats are still in service is amazing to me.
The fact that, the Anderson, it was right there when it happened.
The Anderson was right there, and we seen it last year.
The Sykes. Yeah, we did see it last year. The Sykes has been by two of the, last sinkings.
Yeah, what was the one? What was the other one?
It was one of the Bradley boats.
Oh, was it the Carl D. Bradley?
I think it was.
Because that was in 55, I think.
The Sykes picked up some survivors from whichever boat it might not have been the Bradley, but whichever boat it was, she picked up some survivors, and she was close enough to hear some and be kind of relevant to this.
The Sykes has been around since 49, right? 1949 was when it was launched.
49, the Sykes was launched.
And that's still in service.
Still in service today.
Or every obviously winter layup right now. But
and there's it's interesting. There's no known threat of that one being taken out of service.
That's good. I know that at the end of last year they had a little bit of trouble. Was it just engine trouble?
Yeah, they were. Their fleet mate came and kind of helped them out. Actually, it towed them out into a bay for them to have some protection. But they got back to their port just fine, and after that they had to do some repairs, and then there's actually a YouTube page for it and some cool kind of insider photography of the work they're doing on it and their service during the season. So, but yeah, she was close to the last two of the last sinkings, but kind of moving on from the sinking of the Fitzgerald and Anderson's role in it, she had some more milestones right after. Self-and loader, 1982. 81, the slight change of the name. I already talked about that, and the port was moved to Duluth. And that's where they found out about the softer midsection.
So that's got to be the section that they put in. How you think?
Yeah. So not a lot happens in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, which is a good thing. It just their seasons went on. Lake Freighters are hers. Her season went on without a hitch. Well, I'm sure there's something here and there, but nothing really too detrimental to it. But it was a great thing. And then pretty much fast forward the whole time, anything in the 2000s, really?
Yeah, actually. So 2003. It was a big year for not really the boat, but for the company. So after 102 years, U.S. Steel sold their fleet.
Their entire fleet?
Their entire fleet. So the original Pittsburgh Steamship Company, then U.S. Steel Great Lakes fleet was sold to Canadian National Railway.
Okay.
So 51 years of straight service with the same company. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And then, so to comply with U.S. laws, the fleet's managed by the Keystone Shipping, which is based out of Pennsylvania, and that allows them to trade between U.S. ports.
Yeah.
So nothing really else happened in the 2000s until 2015. That's when the Anderson, I found this out today, was stuck in ice for 5 days, right outside of Conneaut. Okay. And actually, it's a lot of Great Lakes boats go to Conneaut because that's that whole complex down there is owned by the Canadian National. I mean, that's where we were. Where our video, the Roger Blau video, that's where the Roger Blau is now.
That's why it's able to sit there.
Yep, because they own that dock and they own the rail yard. It's Bessemer and Lake Erie rail yard, but it's owned by Canadian National. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They getting stuck out of Conneaut, but 5 days. That's a long time to be stuck in ice. That just happened. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago with a Canadian boat?
Yeah, I think that was like I think it was like a week ago or something like that. It was stuck for borderline its entire voyage to layup, wasn't it? Going to layup, which is surprising that it was even still out, not already in layup. But
right, she was doing I think some end of the season salt runs.
Probably.
There's still a couple boats doing that, but yeah. And so then after the 2016 season, she was put in a layup for a couple years, pulled out in 2019, and that's when she went to the Fraser Shipyards.
Things give you acid reflux, let me tell
you.
You're great. I'm going to keep drinking.
Fraser Shipyards, that was her 5-year survey. And that's where they were kind of iffy about putting her back into service, but she did pass. We know that for sure. I think the iffy part is kind of a rumor that it's just known, but
once again, we're in a couple Facebook groups talking to people who are within work on ships, whatever, and that's where we get some information from. Right. So don't count on us.
And we're gonna try to include that too if we don't think it's concrete, Right. But we want to talk about it anyways because I mean, it could be true, it could be not. It's interesting in a bad way, so we're gonna talk about it. That she had a little refit there, and she's been in service ever since. Now this year, 2025, she had a good season. 2024, we got to see her once, but there's some more rumors speculating that this might be it. It might be the last. She might be going in a long-term layup, is what I've heard. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll go into the torch. We don't know. I'm sure.
I don't think that they're going to turn her into a museum ship just because of just how many there already are. I mean, obviously, this is one of the most important boats. Unfortunately. This is one of the most historical boats in history regarding just the fits and all that. Everybody knows it, but I don't think they're going to take her to a museum.
I don't think anybody can afford it.
I don't think anybody can afford it. There's really no space.
No.
People who have the space can't afford it.
Or don't want it.
Or just don't want it. I mean, it's awesome, but I don't really know if I'm gonna want a whole lake freighter. I mean, regardless, I would. I'd love to go outside and be like, that thing's crazy, and just go back inside and drink coffee or whatever, But we'll see. I'm hoping. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe this season in April she'll be tugged out, right back into service. We'll see.
Hopefully,
because we really want to go see her and go get a. We really just want to go see her.
Yeah, and get some good pictures.
and just enjoy it.
A lot of people have already been out this year to catch her in layup. There's a park that's pretty close, but you can't really reach her without using a drone, which we plan on doing. We got an awesome video planned out.
Negative 10 degrees, hopefully. 60 mile an hour blizzard.
Has to be.
It has to be. We have to say it's colded 13 times throughout the video.
Absolutely. If it's not like
if we wake up and it's sunny, it's beautiful. We're not going.
We're not going.
We're not going. We're gonna
going back inside.
We're gonna go back inside and just, I don't know, do nothing. Like go stare at coal or do something stupid.
Yeah. Go harass him at Home Depot or something.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Not harass. Go say hi at Home Depot.
Go say hi politely.
But so it's a big year. I'm excited about going up there,
especially because the other Lake Frienders. We're gonna go get to see the Munsons up there. Which
I'm excited about the
love
Munson.
That boat. I don't know why that and the Saginaw, I'm pretty sure, are one of the same. They both look the same style.
I looked it up. They're very similar, but they were built at different shipyards. I believe. Is that right? I'm gonna rescind that because I don't remember for certain. But they're not the same. Mm-hmm. But they're very similar.
Yeah, I just like the design of them. I like the style of them because
I do
cool.
too.
It's also a cab over.
And the Munson, I think, is one of the oldest self-unloaders out
Probably.
there. That was a Bradley boat, and maybe we should do an episode on that.
There's
one.
A lot we can do.
That's a cool. Yeah, the whole Bradley fleet is something itself. They're a lot of cool things. But yeah, there's a lot of cool boats up there. There's even a couple of 1,000-footers, I think.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I never seen a 1,000-footer yet.
Yeah, me neither.
So
well, we might have seen some, but
we might have seen
not up
some,
close.
but not up close,
yeah.
And we might not even realize it.
Right.
Right.
So definitely check out the video. We appreciate everybody watching this, even if we only get 20 views. We're happy to.
We're just
20
happy.
people
We're
sat
happy
here
to just
watch
sit around
us
here and talk about it and
talk about it in a barn. We enjoy doing this. No matter how many views we get, so we're going to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody for watching. I'm going to finish this off, and I think we're going to finish this video.
You're right. Hold on.
Thanks for watching, and catch us around the beginning of March for an awesome video.
Absolutely. Have a great day.